Hello everybody, and welcome to ChessDiagnostic, the 4th edition, which I think is how I'm going to be doing this from now on. So I brought my harmonica mic. I used to play in a band in the Midwest full-time about 4 years ago, and well, now I'm a t-shirt designer. So I've really been thinking this past week about how I can be more consistent with this stuff and get the quality back up again. So I brought my harmonica mic and I got a laptop here. So the cool thing is I go for a hike every day. I'm consistent with that. So I thought, why not combine it with this channel and just throw it in a backpack and record a video while I'm out here. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And, you know, if I can keep that schedule up, I'll get a lot of videos done. So here we are on position 19 for the Rook Endgames. Now, I did the pawn endings. I finished that series. I think there's one more maybe, but it's just kind of like a study. So all the practical rook endings, we're going to get into that now. So with this position, it's white to move. And actually, whether it's white or black to move, it's a win either way for white. Now, in the rook endings, the Lucina position, I think I did a video on that already. I'm not sure if that's in the series, but that's a very well-known rook ending. And this is very similar to that. Basically, it is the Lucina position. But the interesting thing about this series of rook endings is that it really shows all the different variations with a single pawn and king and rook versus a king and a rook and what's a draw and what's not. So you don't really have to memorize all that shit, but what you should do is understand the concepts. So the reason that this is a win for white is that he can basically chase the king away. So we'll look at a line here. I'll just get right into it. So if white just checks him with rook to e1 and the king tries to stay in the game, then actually there's no other checks that black can give because the king is blocking the f file, and then we just get king to f8. This pawn will queen, and black basically has to give his rook for that queen. And now we just get a simple king and rook endgame. I assume you know how to do this, but we'll just go through the line the quickest way. Now, there's basically two methods for the rook ending. Just trapping the box, trapping the king in the box is the simple one. But normally, if you're in time trouble, it's better to just try to slowly reduce the king's area with the rook. But it's actually a little quicker if you use the king to provide some opposition here, like this. All right, so we'll go back. All right, so after rook to e1 check, if the king goes to d6, then it's a little more complicated. We try to bring in, we get a check, and then we have to bring the king to the center. Notice the rook on the e file is preventing that check. And now he's ready to queen, but the problem is, if rook just goes back to g2, threatens the pawn, the best way to protect it is rook to e7. And now he's preparing to play king to f8 and interpose with the rook on f7. All right, so the rook basically has to stay there. If the rook moves or the king moves, then either way he'll play king to f8, check. And now game's all over. He can prolong it, but after these couple moves, we're back to the king and rook versus the lone king, an easy win. All right, so this is the introduction to the rook endings. If you have any questions on this specific position or any alternate lines, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you in position 20. All right, thanks for watching. Let me play it out here.